The Trump administration says it's deploying hundreds more federal agents to Minneapolis following last week's deadly shooting by an ICE agent there. Thousands of protesters flooded the streets over the weekend calling for accountability. Yesterday, DHS Secretary Noem repeated her claim the shooting victim was a domestic terrorist.
How can you assert with certainty that she was trying to hurt the officer as opposed to she was trying to flee the scene?
If you look at what the definition of domestic terrorism is, it completely fits the situation on the ground.
Why are you so certain that your interpretation is the truth when an investigation hasn't even happened?
Jake, I'm watching the videos.
Other people are
talking
watching
to officers.
the videos
I'm getting
and
the
coming
facts.
to a different conclusion.
Everything that we've stated as the Department of Homeland Security and this administration has been factual.
And there's fresh controversy over congressional visits to ICE facilities. You're looking at 3 Minnesota congresswomen who told reporters Saturday they were removed from one of those buildings in Minneapolis. DHS says it's implemented a new rule requiring a week's notice before lawmakers can conduct an oversight visit. CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camilo Montoya-Galvez is here with me in studio to discuss all of these angles. Camilo, good morning.
Good morning.
Let's start with the DHS Secretary speaking about domestic terrorism and what happened in Minneapolis. What exactly is the DHS policy? What does it say?
Well, the Department of Homeland Security back in December, for context, was blocked by a federal judge in Washington from asking lawmakers in Congress to submit requests to inspect immigration and customs detention facilities holding people facing deportation.
Oh, that's right. About
7
the 3
days
congresswomen.
in
Yes.
advance. But now the Department of Homeland Security has issued an identical policy imposing the same 7-day requirement for members of Congress to provide advance notice before inspecting facilities. Otherwise, they will not be allowed unfettered access to detention facilities. But the Secretary of Homeland Security this time around, Errol, is citing new legal authority, saying that the new restrictions on inspections at ICE facilities will be funded through the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that President Trump, of course, signed into law back in the summer. That gave ICE billions of dollars to expand detention capacity and also to bolster deportation efforts. So the administration is imposing the same requirement, but now citing a new stream of funding for this effort.
And I understand the administration is sending hundreds more federal agents to Minnesota. Tell us about that plan.
Well, the Department of Homeland Security, Errol, already has a massive footprint in the Minneapolis region. Over the past week and a half, the department has surged thousands of federal agents to this area, including 2,100 officers and agents at Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, to oversee probes into allegations of fraud in that state, but also immigration enforcement operations, meaning targeted operations to arrest and identify people who are suspected of being in the country illegally. They have also been joined by more than 200 Customs and Border Protection agents led by that notorious and vocal commander, Gregory Vivino. They have also been arresting people in Minneapolis suspected of being in the country illegally. But we are told, importantly, by U.S. officials that CBP, Customs and Border Protection, is planning to deploy several hundred additional agents to that region.
We know that feelings are quite intense there already, so it'll be interesting to see what happens next. Camilo, thank you very much.